There you go. Okay, so let's just kind of get right into the talents, like what I'm running. Just there's actually one thing I want to point out. So right now, obviously in Shadowlands you have Final Verdict, which gives you that extra range on your Templars. But what I realize is that if you run Crusader's Aura, it actually gives your Templar's Verdict extra 3 yards of range, which actually gives you a total of 8 yards. So you can actually get an 8-yard Templar's Verdict without running Final Verdict. And so Final Verdict would do like 1,300 damage, and then the Templar's Verdict is still doing like 13,000 damage, and we're still doing about 11,000 damage. And obviously you lose the Hammer of Wrath proc, but you also get the extra range in the Crusader Strike. So you actually get 8 yards of range on the Crusader Strike as well. And if you read the talent for the Crusader's Aura, if I can find it here, right here, it says while mounted on your Crusader or under the effects of Crusader's Aura, you get the increased range benefit in Crusader Strike, Templar's Verdict, and Hammer of Justice, all increased by 3 yards. So it actually gives you a total of 8 yards on the Templars and the Crusaders, which is pretty helpful. And on the Blade of Justice, we have 22 yards right now. So I think that's pretty beneficial. You don't actually have to run Final Verdict to get that little bit of like extra range out. You can still it's like obviously not as far, but it's still helping you. I feel like against some like range classes and just catching up with people. Otherwise, I'll go into like the more general build in a second. But right now, I've been messing around with Exorcism, which like it really isn't too great. But I kind of just been messing with it. But right now, so I'm not spec'd into Final Verdict since I'm getting kind of that extra range. I'm only missing out on 2 yards, honestly, which I don't think is that big of a deal. Otherwise, right now I'm running Ashes to Ashes, which is the current tier set bonus with the old Necro ability, and then as well as Divine Toll. It's kind of like a ranged build. So let's just go ahead and take this duel. I don't know what we're dueling, but we'll see in a second, I guess. Okay, cool. So it's the red. We'll see how this goes. Dodge this guy. Heal up a little bit. We'll probably just blind this guy out. He probably won't die. I should probably heal up here. Let's heal up. Heal up again. Okay, so let's get the hell out of here. Let's slow this guy. He can't catch up with me every time. Let's get a Hodge. Exorcism. Should give us our. That gave us our proc. And there we go, nice. This guy has a little bit less gear than me, obviously, so grain of salt. Anyway, so that was a nice, quick little tool. Also, I didn't even pop Divine Toll. I'm an idiot. Anyway, but yeah, so right now, it's kind of like more like a ranged build-ish with the Divine Toll if you use it. Right now, I'm spec'd into Divine Toll with the extra judgments being cast. I kind of feel like it definitely helps with the holy power generation, and to use Exorcism, you actually have to spec into one of these two. Right now I'm running Inner Power, which gives you an extra holy power every 12 seconds. Like ostensibly, really like not like objectively honest, like not really a great talent. Not too big of a deal. Like, can it be clutch sometimes? Yeah, it can be. If you can get that extra holy power to give yourself a wog if you need it. Otherwise, just a quick rundown if you haven't seen this tree. Blade of Justice, Divine Storm, you kind of have to take that. Art of War, which we definitely want. Blade of Justice, extra additional holy power, that's nothing. This is just a passive 2% mastery increase, which you could honestly, we can honestly probably take this out and give myself some extra judgment damage, which I'll probably do there. Go back down this tree. We have Timely Judgment, just reduces cooldown, 2 charges. This is all general stuff. This is kind of where your first interesting decision tree comes in. Now you can choose between Divine Protection as well as Shield of Vengeance. The way I like to think about this basically is like if you, because everyone has about like 100k HP more or less right now going into this. If you take, if you expect to take 200,000 damage in like an opener, right? If you're going against like some crazy crazy turbo comp, if you're gonna take like 200,000 damage in the opener, which is honestly very probable if you're going against running against double DPS, you'll probably take the Divine Protection will actually give you more of a benefit in that case over 8 seconds, because you'll probably take more than 200k damage over 8 seconds, right? So actually a pretty long period of time. So you'll actually get more benefit from the Divine Protection as opposed to the Shield of Vengeance. Obviously, if you're going to take less than 200k damage, so maybe like outside of major CDs, defensive CDs, Shield of Vengeance will actually give you more of a benefit. That being said, though, Divine Protection, you're actually able to cast Divine Protection if you know how HPAL works while you're in certain CCs. So if under certain CCs, except for like SAP, anything other than SAP, honestly, I've noticed that even if I'm stunned, I can use Divine Protection while I'm stunned. So obviously with Shield of Vengeance, you can't do that. But with Divine Protection, you can actually give yourself a 20% reduction in damage while you're stunned without having to use a trinket, without having to use your bubble. So it's kind of has an edge over Shield of Vengeance in that case, because you can kind of protect yourself while you're stunned without having to panic bubble or panic trinket or something if you're taking a lot of damage. Kind of moving on over here, increased judgment damage, increased Templar's Verdict damage. This talent isn't that great, but I'm just running it right now so I can get into the Exorcism tree over here, talent over here. Exorcism is okay. You can basically get like a maximum of like 60% uptime, since you can cast it. It's got a 20 second cooldown, but it procs basically every 12 seconds as the dot. So you get like 60% uptime with that. It does 4,000 damage initially, and then after that does about 6,000 damage. So it's about 10,000 damage overall, not accounting for critical strikes. I found it to be like okay. Like it's gotten me some. I find it kind of beneficial. Like if you're fighting a rogue, obviously you can keep a dot up on a rogue, or even on a hunter, so they can't get a re-stealth or something like that. And there's been a lot of instances where it kind of helps kind of helps like finish kills, honestly. So I mean, we'll kind of see how this goes. Right now, I'm just testing it out. It's also kind of like a ranged build ish. Otherwise, something else definitely be interested in. So Wake of Ashes, and then down here is our current four-piece set. Where Art of War now has a 35% chance to reset the cooldown of Wake of Ashes instead of Blade of Justice. Obviously, on the current tier set, I believe it's 50%. I could be wrong. I think it's 50%. But this is 35%, which is still pretty good. So definitely gonna run that. This is like a new Wake of Ashes. I didn't really play the prior expansion, so we might have had this before. So I apologize if we've had this before and I'm just didn't know about it. But anyway, so Path of Ruin. Path of Ruin is essentially a weaker version of like a Wake of Ashes. You still have Wake of Ashes. That does not replace Wake of Ashes, but it's like a weaker version of Wake of Ashes. It does radiant damage. But this one actually takes 3 holy power as opposed to generating 3 holy power. So it's like does 16,000 damage as opposed to 20,000 damage. So it's kind of like a buffed up. It's kind of like a buffed up like Templar's Verdict almost, honestly. So I mean that it could be good if you kind of look at it like that. Because it has that 12-yard range, and uses the exact same holy power. But it's on the 15-second cooldown, so you have to pay attention to that. Obviously, can't use it all the time. But I think having the 35% chance proc of having the Wake of Ashes is probably better. But I can see this being an interesting build. We'll have to see. I haven't really tested it out too much yet. Let's see. Anything else is interesting? Blade of Wrath stuff. This one's Steel of Wrath is interesting. It's basically 25% of the time you'll get an extra. It's not really an extra cast of Judgment. It's essentially just it says it casts Judgment again, but really it doesn't cast it again. So it's not going to be another like 6,000 damage. It just casts. You get an extra 1,100 holy damage on top of the first Judgment that you throw, 25% of the time. And obviously this can crit on its own, so you can actually you can get like 2,400 or whatever additional damage on top of the Judgment. Which honestly, I mean, this is kind of a nice. It's basically I just view it as a nice kind of like little buff to Judgment, which is cool, because our Judgments are actually doing a pretty decent amount of damage right now. Otherwise, interesting tree actually like over here. Expurgation obviously like not too great, just because you don't really crit that often with your Blade of Wrath. You can increase the or Blade of Justice. You can increase the crit chance of Blade of Justice, which is interesting. So that is a potential build that you can run to increase your crit chance. And actually over here, Holy Aegis, you can actually increase your critical strike chance. So you get +4 critical strike chance over here if you run put 2 points into here and then gain another 5%. so giving us 9% total extra critical strike chance running into Blade of Justice, and then on top of whatever critical strike you already have, so maybe like the 25% crit strike you can get just for Blade of Justice, giving you a little extra expurgation chance. Otherwise, Sealed Verdict I think is actually interesting. You can get a total of 16% extra damage on your Blade of Justice after using any of your holy power spending abilities, which I mean it's a pretty decent chunk of extra damage. I can definitely see that being useful. So that maybe could be something that we run instead of this tree here, instead of the Righteous Verdict or whatever. We can get just some extra Blade of Justice damage. And then down here is our Eye for an Eye, which honestly definitely want to run against melee comps, and I think it works pretty good, especially when you're running Divine Protection as well. So you can pop Divine Protection and Eye for an Eye at the same time if you're going to take a lot of damage. Again, if you're taking a ton of damage in an opener, I think Divine Protection is going to be better than Shield of Vengeance. But otherwise, outside of CDs, like Shield of Vengeance would be better. But it just depends what you're going into. But yeah, to be able to spec into this, we need at least 2 points in this direction. It's really probably not going to be totally plausible going this way. I think you can just put one into here, maybe go here. I think so. But basically, you essentially have to spec out of this branch, and then you would just come down this tree here, grab Fires of Justice, which is kind of what it is, and then pick up Eye for an Eye. So if you're going into a melee comp, you would just go down this tree. Otherwise, definitely want to hold on to these things. Our first Avenging Wrath talent, it is what it is. You just gotta pick it up. Extra 20% critical strike chance. Crusade, was nerfed in it's currently nerfed in Shadowlands. I'm not sure if it's actually nerfed right now. It's 2% instead of 3%. I don't see this being good, honestly. I don't see it being any better than it currently is in Shadowlands. So I'm probably not gonna be picking this up. Running Selfless Healer right now. I'm assuming this is still nerfed in PvP, the Healing Hands, so I'm not really running that, but Selfless Healer is working pretty great for some extra heals. I like that. And then our capstone are getting at least close to our capstone stuff. I already talked about why I'm not running Final Verdict, because I already get the extra yardage by running the Crusader aura, which I think is working pretty good. So it's allowing me to kind of go into this other tree, which is Ash. So Ashes to Ashes. So we get our the 2-point tier set, giving us our 4-second Seraphim, which is great. Definitely want to keep that. And then the Imperium Empowerment is essentially Vanquisher's Hammer, except we'd only get one Vanquisher's Hammer every 30 seconds, but it works off of your judgment. But honestly, it does a pretty good amount of damage. Divine Storm is doing a decent amount of damage right now. I think it's doing like 8,000 plus 9,000 damage, while the Templar's Verdict does about 11,000. So it's pretty significant. And then just the Divine Toll, which we all know what Divine Toll does. It'll still cast on multiple targets if they're available. And then the Unity ability, which auto cast Divine Toll every 5 seconds, which is still pretty beneficial for generating Holy Power, I feel like. So it's kind of like this is kind of like my range build right now. I'm running Exorcism and then running Divine Toll, and then running the extra damage on the Judgments to kind of do more damage, and not running the Templar's Verdict or the Final Verdict, 'cause I don't really feel like I need it. I've been seeing most builds of people running this, but I don't really like it too much, to be honest. I feel like if you go down this tree, you can't grab these two. Unfortunately, you basically lose your Curian and your Necro ability if you go down this tree. And otherwise, in the general ret category, nothing really too interesting. Blinding Light, some just typical stuff. Extra 10% damage on holy power spending abilities. Obviously, should grab that. Down here, you can either choose Blessing of Spell Warding, which is from the prot tree of Shadowlands right now, or Blessing of Protection. So obviously, if you're running into a melee versus spellcaster, now you can swap, which is excellent. So if you're doing going into like S Priest and Athlock, obviously pick up Blessing of Spell Warding. It works great. At least right now, with my testing with S Priest or any priest, currently cannot be Mass Dispelled. So no Mass Dispel on the Blessing of Spell Warding, and no Mass Dispel on the Divine Shield right now, which is very interesting. So I'm not sure if some of that's going to be fixed or not. I think it might be intentional, but at least right now it can't be dispelled. But Blessing of Spell Warding is an awesome ability as a Ret Paladin or any Paladin to have, since essentially you can have 2 bubbles now. against magic, which is just much needed. Running Divine Purpose, we all know what Divine Purpose does. And this is going to be an interesting talent, I think, for HPAL. So Blessing of Sacrifice, and then the options here are to do a reduced Blessing of Sacrifice. So to have it on a minute cooldown, which is obviously great. Probably run that as Rep Paladin. And then Recompense, I think, is going to be great for HPAL because it takes 50% of the total damage received and puts it into your next Judgment. So, or into your next Word of Glory's bonus healing. So I think for HPAL would be great, right? Because you can honestly, you can do either extra damage or extra healing, but, if you're running Ultimate Sacrifice on your HPAL, I mean, 100% of the damage, you're basically 50% of an enemy's opener is going to be put into your Judgment. I don't know if that's going to be nerfed or not. I feel like it is going to have to be, because if your ally takes 300,000 damage in an opener, right, in total, and you put 150k in a single Judgment, that doesn't make sense to me. So I'm sure this will be nerfed at some point, but I haven't been able to test it out myself anyways, HPAL or as a Ret anyway, even though Ret wouldn't be Ultimate Sacrifice, but you kind of get the point. So right now, I'm not doing Arena because it doesn't really matter, but this will be interesting. Anyway, I'm going down the right side here of the tree. I don't really see many people running this, of the Dusk and Dawn and the Seal of Order talents. To me, this honestly seems pretty good because I feel like I almost have 100% uptime of these passives. Because you're always spending your holy power. You pretty much, eventually you're gonna go down to zero holy power. So we're gonna have a decreased damage. You're gonna have a damage reduction 4%, which is great, and then increased damage of 6% when you get up to 5 5 holy power, which happens all the time. So I feel like I'm always running these when I'm in a duel, or just in combat. So I feel like this is basically just like a 6% and 4% buff, and then on top of that for Seal of Order, you get increased 10% on holy damage. On top of that 6%, and then you also get an increase in 10% armor, and increase 10% cooldown reduction during dawn or during dusk? I always forget. During a dusk. So it's essentially just 10% buff on top of the 6 and 4% buff, which again, the uptime is almost 100%. I feel like when I'm playing, so they're pretty good buffs, honestly, and I feel like it makes me tankier, and I do more damage. Otherwise, you can run down kind of into the wings sort of centered focused branches. Here you can get a total of 8% increase in your mastery, and you can make your wings last 25% longer. And interesting enough, it says your Judgment does additional 1 holy power, which is borrowing from the prot tree right now. So obviously it'd be great for holy power generation, but it's only during wings, and I really want to focus on being having Ret do damage and have goes outside of wings, because I feel like right now that's one of the biggest weaknesses of Ret, is that you really only have a lot of kill potential inside of wings. So I feel like my biggest goal is to make it so I can have goes outside of wings, which it really feels like I do. I feel like every time I get a proc of Empyrean Power, which is the Vanquisher's Hammer ability, I feel like I have a pretty good go, and it works really well with the Divine Toll, and I start getting a bunch of holy power generation, and I can kind of dish out a lot of pressure. And I think having these these kind of passive buffs from the Dusk of Dawn and the Seal of Order, I feel like helps that a lot. Aspirations of Divinity, it's not a great talent, just kind of is what it is. It's kind of there. It's your only option. You have to click on it to be able to go down the street. And then I'm just running a 2% increased haste. I could honestly take this off and give myself 2% armor. It kind of plus minus, honestly. And then sort of on the right side here, other people are running this one. Getting the possible chance of 5% increased holy damage. I don't really like these kind of low chance things. It's kind of, might be good, might not be good. And then Mad Paragon. Hammer of Wrath does some additional damage, increases wing duration. Again, I'm trying to do things that are outside of wings, but I think it's totally a reasonable path to go down. I think ideally, if I was going to do anything, I'd probably just go down this way, give 8% extra increased mastery, and then make the wings just last longer. So that's the build I'm running right now. Again, the Exorcism is kind of plus minus, and we could take this out and give this give more Blade of Justice, or take these out and get the Eye for an Eye ability. So yeah, let's see if we can get some duels going on. But that's the current build we're running. So yeah, let's just we'll see if we get any duels. Let's actually. That's fine. We'll just run. Let's take this off right now, and we will run this. I'm not sure if the CDs are up or what. Let's see. Okay, we'll just get to and so basically for this, I'll probably just whenever he pops all this crazy stuff, I'll probably pop a few defensives here, but I'm just gonna pop wing spot right away, honestly. I'm gonna pop the 20% cooldown reduction. I'm gonna trinket this. I'm gonna pop eye for an eye here. He's not spell reflecting me. There's a lot of lag. I'm gonna heal up a little bit. And got spell reflect down, so we're just gonna heal up here for a second. That shouldn't break. Okay, we're feared. This lag is really bad. This is unfortunate. I'm just gonna bubble this.
Too far away.
Okay, cool. So I think, did I give us our Imperium Empowerment? Not sure. Okay, I'm gonna hodge this guy. We're gonna heal up here. Slow this guy, toss out Divine Soul, whack this dude a couple times. Let's heal up. Might be dead here. Let's see. But we got a eye for an eye that can pop. That's good. Got a heal. And a heal. Sick. Let's get the hell out of here.
Must get closer.
Oh, that's bad. Let's pop the CD. Okay, cool. Let's hodge this dude, and maybe we can finish it off. Let's see. Maybe? Yeah, I think we got it.
Do not attack that target.
Nice. Oh shit, we died. Fuck. That was a lot of lag, dude. Let's see if this guy comes back. Where's he at? Don't see where he went. Okay, Grant, I don't know where he's going. Okay, so that was a lot of lag. Yeah, so I mean, like, I feel like the healing of Rhett, honestly, right now is like pretty good. I don't know if you're like my flashes of light. With that talent, I'm able to get extra heals, which obviously is available in Shadowlands right now. But I feel like that works pretty well. But yeah, I mean, having the running divine protection, and then eye for an eye at the same time, basically gets you like 55% wall, which is just awesome. And I mean, coming from a Fury Warrior, like I'm expecting to take more than 200,000 damage in an opener. Like you know what I mean? That's a lot of damage. And right now, Shield of Vengeance is only doing 37k damage reduction anyway. So, I mean, I feel like it's pretty good. And again, you can also pop Divine Protection while you're in stun. So, I feel like it's beneficial. I feel like it's better. I feel like the Divine Tools are giving a lot of holy power generation. Obviously, with a Warrior, not too worried about range. But right now, I still am running the Crusader Warrior right now anyway. I will say, though, against Warlocks and Priests, not doing great. Getting pretty crushed right now. So, no, it's not really any much different than it is in current Shadowlands. So, not much to really say there, but let's see, this guy wants to go again. I'm going to go ahead and pop Freedom probably right away. Okay, cool. Excellent. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Let's heal up here. Oh, he's blinded. Can we get... Probably just... Yeah. Alright, nice. Let's go ahead and heal up, probably. I'm not sure what this guy's doing. He's gonna break it, I guess. Go ahead and heal. Okay, we're gonna bubble this. Might be in trouble here. I'm gonna heal and then pop eye for an eye. Pop that, get some heals off. Very nice. I'm gonna give it a shot. Have this heal. Okay. Can we win this? Oh shit. Oh, I don't want to get myself. Nice. We probably need to run away, honestly. But yeah, I think we're in trouble here. I think we're in trouble here, boys. Oh no. Do we live? Do we live this? Oh, we might live. We might live. Oh man. Oh Jesus Christ. Scary.
Is low. Mana is
definitely
needed.
sketch. Yeah, so that's the current build I'm running. I feel like at power range, yeah, the range is good. Cool. Crusader gives extra range. Perfect. Yeah, so like he's saying, the range is a lot better, which it is, and like but yeah, so that's the current build. I'll probably, if I find a couple more duels, I'll just play them. Just you guys can, I guess, watch. But that is the current build that I'm running, at least. I feel like in melees, I feel like I definitely am doing pretty good. Okay, yeah, definitely gonna pop some coolies here. This is scary. I'm gonna pop dodge on this guy, even though he's probably gonna trinket. Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna pop blinding light, and we're gonna do some damage into this guy while we have blinding light up because we can. Yeah, he's dead. It feels bad. All the damage doesn't break. Yeah, so it's pretty good. But yeah, I definitely feel like Rhett has a lot more damage outside of wings right now, which is just, honestly, is awesome. I feel like I'm not having too much of a problem against warriors. I feel like usually in duels, at least right now, like in Season 4, I feel like Fury just kind of pumps Rhetts. You can obviously, you can kite, if you're really good, you can kite. Like, you can definitely kite Fury Wards, but it definitely takes I feel like it takes a lot more focus. But definitely a lot more damage outside of wings. So I think that's kind of it for right now. I'll pull up the talent tree just one more time. These are my PvP talents, which I love to run in Duels: Law and Order, Jurisdiction. Just more range, constant slows, I think is awesome. But this is my build. I feel like this kind of gives me the most damage outside of wings. To get more damage, if I was going to go against a caster, we obviously wouldn't run eye for an eye, wouldn't run this, and would probably just run Expurgation with at least 1 point into Sealed Verdict to give myself like 8% extra. Or you could remove these two and then go down this tree and get yourself Exorcism for ranged combat, for another ranged ability, and with the 1 Holy Power generation every 12 seconds, which obviously can be helpful against ranged classes since you're not always in close combat. I don't know what move friend is. We'll see. This guy's probably, I don't know who's fighting me right now. Okay, let's see how this goes. Try and get this. We're just gonna chill here for a second since I can't do anything anyway. Maybe get something off this.
I must get closer.
These guys attacking me. Pop a 20% damage reduction, and go ahead and pop our eye for an eye, and we're gonna start popping some heals here because obviously this seems like a lot of damage. Oh yeah. Go ahead and slow this guy too, because why not? Could get a nice little. There we go. Yeah. And then also some ashes. Nice. See, do we have to bubble this? Oh, this guy isn't really expecting to what. I think we're gonna pop that. I don't want to pop bubble. Let's see, this guy does some magic damage. Pop Divine Toll here. Let's get a heal, and then probably, yeah, nice, got that. Yeah, perfect. Our Unity kind of helping us out, get some heals there, which is great. So I can heal up for a second. Can I heal in? Oh, yes I can. Very nice. We're gonna have a blind here in a second, so I'm just gonna survive for a moment. Gonna ashes on this dude, heal, proc this. Do we have to bubble this? I don't think I need to bubble because I can blind this guy afterward. I can heal. Very nice. No need. We'll pop a defensive here. Freedom, because he's probably going to want to slow me. We're going to get a Divine Toll in a second, which will be good. Let's heal, and then pop Divine Toll. Yeah, we died. He got a big crit. Well, that wouldn't go too bad. Obviously, you have to work on some things. Never pop bubble. GD, sir. Yeah, Ellie definitely feeling super tanky for sure. So we're obviously not a god. We lose duels sometimes. But definitely feel like the healing is pretty good on Ret for sure. If I would have popped bubble there, I probably could have won. I was being really stubborn about it. Also, I wasn't expecting the big crit to come out, but it did. So it is what it is. Interesting, he's an extra 600. Extra 600 mana. But yeah. So I think that's it for right now. That's it for right now. If I ever come up with a new build or some updates come out, I might make another video of some combat. Currently don't have a details. There's no details add-on that's working for the PTR at the moment, so I don't have that unfortunately. Some alley here for some reason. Don't really know why, but hold on. Freedom ourselves, he's just probably gonna slow us or something. Some bullshit.
I need to target something first.